Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory. In this video, we find how we train. We're going to be taking a look at a couple of things that he's doing on the mitts, Mr. Jaron Ennis, some of the stuff that he does on the heavy bag as well. And then we're going to be talking about a little bit about boxing news and stuff and talk about whatever bullshit at the end. But go ahead and stick around, and we're going to go ahead and get into this right away. What do I see that I don't like immediately? Triple jab. Now, Jaron Ennis is not a beginner, okay? And you're not often going to be doing a triple jab like this in front of an opponent, especially one who's like as explosive, I'll say, as Amantis Stanionis. If you're just jumping onto his line, one thing that guy can do is just throw punches. So a triple jab in all actuality for like a high level trained guy, you know, we're a couple days away from his fight. This is not really what he needs to be working on. He needs to be working on real combat patterns. He needs to be working on things that he's really going to be wanting to do in the fight, and not just like flashy, simple stuff that helps people develop them as a fighter, right? Like, burn out on the stepping jabs. Like have a guy just catch the stepping jab for you, right? Sure, okay. When you're just beginning to learn and all this stuff, but having it as a key component of your patterns. So I think this one is jab, and then he's going to catch a jab here, and then he's going to hook. Right now, I want you to pay attention to Jaron Ennis's face here. This is really, this is one of those bad things. Okay, I watched before the fight with Zhang, and he was working on a lot of speed, not a lot of head movement, not a lot of power, and he wasn't moving his head at all when he did anything. No head movement, right? But also, I want you to look at what he's looking at. He's not looking at his targets. He's not looking at the hand coming at him when he's catching, because in theory, this is a jab, parry, a jab, and then counter with the hook, right? Bop, 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 right? And in this sequence, he's not looking at anything. He's not looking at his target. He's not looking at what he's punching, right? He's not moving his head in relation to his targets either. All these things are like very, very bad signs for, for you're coming up on your professional fight, your world title fight. And again, the guy that he's fighting is going to be winging big bombs, and slight head movement is going to be extremely important in this fight. And triple jabs, your head doesn't really move when you throw a triple jab for 3 beats, right? Here we see this. If he's catching a jab, that's fine, but you got to be looking at your targets. You got to be moving your head when you're moving your head, or supposed to be. Again, good thing. And then a pull and a shot here. But what is he looking at? Why is he so focused on his coach, right? Why is he not looking for the targets? Little roll after that one. He did a block after the other one, ending the sequence with a jab, a double jab or whatever. Here, lead hook. Okay, you can't just throw a lead hook at a guy, right? Double lead hook? So double lead hook into a right hand. Don't agree. Don't think that's very good. Good pull. This is not a move that you're going to be doing very often, especially coming up after you roll a right hand and then coming up with another shot. You're just not going to have the time, again, in front of a guy to roll and come up with a shot, unless you're just already so much better than that guy, right? If you're just so much better, and everybody knows Ennis is a better fighter, I want to say flat out, he might not win. He might get fucking knocked out. Seriously, Chukajan dropped him. Right, he makes a horrible mistake with his post punch defense in his fights, where he'll sit on the line and he won't move his head, or he'll throw a punch and he does this thing where I call falling off the line. He just basically, if you throw a right hand, you just cross back the line and get back into your quote unquote boxing stance. Here at Fouts Boxing, we teach positions: a front foot position, a Fouts foot, back foot position. The first coach in history to dichotomize these theories and these ideas outside of a boxing stance, right? We don't have a stance. Everything we do in Fouts Boxing theory is in relation to our opponent, which brings us to our first plug real quick. If you guys want coaching, if you guys want help, you want to learn all this stuff, you want somebody to look at or rather, you want a community of people who are interested in getting better, a community of people who want to look at your film study, learn from you. You can learn from them, and support each other. Kinda, you got to pay. But the Fouts Boxing Academy, check it out. It's $160 a year, or it's what is it, like $100 for a 6-month pass. I used to do a 20-minute or a $20 a month one, but people would come in, not post anything, and then just leave, and I don't know if they learned anything. And what I'm trying to do is teach you what is the Fouts boxing combat system. Okay, if you want to learn all this shit on your own, check it out. The link is in the description. It's $300. I assume it'll take about 2 years to make somebody good at it. So it's $160 a year for coaching. You get to learn the Fouts boxing combat system. You get to learn it in a community of people. That it's also full of film study. Okay, we're going to be watching this fight, Ennis versus whatever this dude's name is, Stanionis. Probably the day after the fight. On Patreon and on the Discord. If you guys want, all those film studies are going to be posted there. Pre-fight film studies, post-fight film studies. Last night we were watching, who did we watch last night? Shakur Stevenson fighting Zepeda, right? So Zepeda versus Farmer 2. Talked about that, posted that fight, got another fight the day before and another fight the day before that. Some Abdullah Mason. But we watch all the major fights. There's tons and tons, thousands of fights on Patreon. Thousands. It's years of catalog. Okay, of film studies, of post-fight film studies. It's the Patreon is $10 to sign up, $10 a month. The Discord has the yearly and the half-yearly membership. But if you're looking, say you're in a country that $160 is a lot of money, let me know. I'll work with you. I can get scholarships for you guys. I can get you into the program. And if you're serious and you want to work hard, if you're not going to work hard, I'll just kick you out. I don't have time to be spending with anybody who's not serious, who doesn't want to be world champion. I don't care if you're fat, if you're lazy, how out of shape you are. I don't care how much weight you want. If you aspire to be good at boxing and get in shape and get strong, I'll fucking teach you. But you got to tell me that you want it, okay? You got to work hard, okay? It's not about money, right? It's about having the best community, the best amount of people around, the most knowledgeable community in combat sports. Yeah, and the best fucking fighters on the goddamn planet in the next 5 years. No one's going to be talking about anything but Fouts boxing. Okay. Anyway, getting back into the film study. Starting with an uppercut here. When do you ever do this? Okay. My in between rounds of my first my amateur fighters fight, I told him, okay, the guy's like shelling up and putting his head down. You got to hit him on the side and then come up the middle with an uppercut. And he's like, all he heard was, hell yeah, uppercut. So he ran out there, threw an uppercut, and the guy threw an overhand right and smacked my guy right in the face. Clean shot. Luckily he's not a Fouts boxing fighter. He don't have any punching power. So even though he cracked my guy and he came down hard on him, my guy still whacked him with an uppercut, a super hard uppercut. But again, we talked about it. I don't like this uppercut. I never practice it. I don't teach lead uppercuts. It's not the punch you lead a sequence with. You're doing it from where, right? If you don't believe me, ask Tim Tszyu when he fought Bakram Murtazaliev, and then he started with a lead uppercut, left hook to the body, right? But his hands are down and he got whacked. Right? You're not able to do that. It's not a free punch. So here he is practicing getting on the line, turning that into just a 3-punch combination. No, okay, a block. How good is this block? Let's take a look at that. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, 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 bop. Not that great. Okay? Not the worst. It's not the worst block. But why is he trying to touch him on the elbow? Who the fuck is are we going to say, hey, coach, I'm really glad that you threw that punch at my elbow. That's exactly where my opponent would throw it. Right? Let me ask you a question, you guys. What the fuck is the difference between this and a fucking glove? Why would you not be throwing that at your target? Okay, just doesn't make any sense, and it stops him from being able to block big, wide looping shots. And these big holes right here, the fact that he's not looking at his target, right? He's not interacting with his target. He's not moving around with his tools in relation to his target. He doesn't know how to line up his hands, his head, his shoulders, his feet. He doesn't know how to line them up with his target correctly. And that's going to lead him to be getting hit by these wide looping shots. Now, the best combination that Stanionis throws, if he leads with a left hand here, he leads with a left hook to the body and then an immediate right hand over the top. So if we're blocking here, we're catching, boom, and then immediately moving into a left hand right there. That plays exactly into Stanionis' best combination. Now, maybe these guys are just so good that they think that they won't matter, right? But for all intents and purposes, this is one of the worst sequences you could possibly be having him do. Again, if it's following it right into the exact sequence that Stanionis throws the best, his go-to bread and butter, it has a very high likelihood of putting Ennis in a position where he could get hit, and he could get hit clean by a very hard shot. A little bit of head movement, not very much head movement when he's punching though, and then again ending on the triple jab. This is not the amateurs. You don't need to try to steal triple jab points at the end of it. Okay, lead hook, same patterns as he did the last time. Is it just a lead hook? Bop bop. Okay, not double lead hook. Bop bop. So that's the Mikey Garcia right there. Mikey Garcia had one of the best 3-2s where he would jump onto the line with a pendulum step and then throw that 3, ripping his opponent's hand down or whacking them sometimes, usually pulling their hands down and then hitting them with a hard shot. So pretty good. Same combination, boom, boom, but with a pull this time. I like the pull. Is he pulling a jab right now and then coming back with the right hand? So is that saying that we're going to throw a combination at a guy, we're going to get on the line, and we're going to go bop, bop, and then he's going to counter us with a jab? He's going to freak out Devin Haney us, or he's going to freak out and do his triple jab, pull counter? Maybe. I don't really like that pull counter. You see how he moves just straight back, right? Now, again, what is he looking at? Why is he not looking at his target, right? Let me ask you a question. If he's punching that guy in the hand right now, is that not supposed to be his opponent's face? So why isn't he moving his head in relation to his mitt, in relation to the target that he's attacking, right? Now, funny story, I was training down at San Diego Combat Academy a few years after my injury, and I was still a wreck. Like, I still couldn't do like more than 10 sit-ups without my whole core seizing up. But I remember asking one of the pros there that was working with the coach there, Tiger Smalls, and asking him what they're doing, what they're looking at in the mitts. And I remember saying like, oh, I wouldn't do that. And he screamed at me. Yeah, he screamed at me, saying, don't be telling my pro fighters how to do this, this, and that, whatever. And it's like, his poor son, trained his whole life trying to be a pro fighter. I think he's retired now. He'd like had one loss, but he was like a karate guy. He had fast hands, but he didn't really move his head at all. He was all straight karate boxing, right? Stepping jabs and, relying on being a weight bully, right? That's like everybody's prayer, right? You're just too bulky for the weight class. I can't teach you how to fight. I can only teach you how to stepping jab on a smaller guy. You got to cut weight. You got to be fighting the little guys. And then we pray. We pray that by the time you get to the top, you're 5'10", fighting in the 147-pound division, fighting a bunch of guys that are 5'8", right? And no offense, right? Tommy Hearn's one of my favorite fighters. Massive weight bully. As soon as he moved up into like the bigger weights, right? Iron Barkley for no reason. Why the hell is that guy competing with Thomas Hearns? Well, Thomas Hearns has bad defense because he fought little guys his whole career. He never had to fucking learn, right? Now in steps in Imantis Stanionis, a guy who can kind of maybe a little bit box. He's thick. He's strong. He's got fast hands when he's already on the line with you, right? So once the boxing is done, right, and it's time to fight, Stanionis is going to be dangerous. And these small little errors right here, like not moving his head when he throws a punch at a guy, are going to be big. They're going to be big. Now, we still got a little bit of work to look at. We're going to take a look at this heavy bag work as well. But he's fast. He's fast. And here's the thing is like Jaron Ennis, very, very, very dangerous guy. So I was reading an article on Boxing News, and Boxing News was saying some crazy shit like he had a bad performance against Roman Villa. Man, I thought he whooped that guy so bad. Am I crazy? Did I not remember that fight wrong? Am I remembering that wrong? Like, that fight was an ass whooping. Wasn't it just a beating? And that guy's a dangerous guy. That guy's really dangerous. He's another guy like Kavaliauskas that's never going to get his due, right? Because he fought like Crawford. Like, again, people now are like, oh yeah, he's pound for pound, Kavaliauskas, if he got his hands on Sean Porter, annihilate him. If he got his hands on Keith Thurman, annihilate him. Danny Garcia, annihilate him. Errol Spence, annihilate him. At that point, Top Rank had done such a good job of picking up the two best welterweights in the world, and they had to put them against each other. And nobody gave a fuck. Nobody even cared. Everyone only criticized him for getting dropped. And then He has to go and fight Virgil Ortiz. Oh, another huge weight bully that he just almost gets him too. And then does he win? No, nobody cares. I think he's like not really done shit either. But Kavaliauskas, man, that guy's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's good. He's pretty good. He obviously got like bad defense and shit, but he makes up with it by being the savage. Anyway. So, boom, boom, boom. Good. Stepping jab, stepping jab. What the? Stepping jab, stepping jab. Why are you pumping that shit? Very, very dangerous, right? This is very dangerous, right? So he's showing him slip. Are you slipping here? Now, when you slip here, I want to ask you a question. Why the fuck did you go in this position if you didn't intend to hit your opponent? Why? You could have thrown a right hand right there. Why would you do that? This is fundamentally one of the worst drills. One of the worst. You're going to be slipping that shot and you're going to be pulling back. Boom. And you're going to be pulling back. What if your opponent just throws a 1-2? Boom. Right? There's that video of Tim Tszyu warming up for his fight, right? Whoops. There's that video of Tim Tszyu warming up on his fight. I was going to try to find it for you over here. And all he's doing is throwing fast-ass 1-2s, right? Boom. Boom. Right? Now, no, you're not always going to get hit by the 1-2 when you do this move if you move your head correctly, right? If you know how and you've got good timing. But it is very dangerous if you pull, right? And then you re-enter the line right here. It's very dangerous. Do you know why? Because your opponent doesn't do it with a jab, right? Like look at Greg Hackett here. He's doing it, right? Huh? Huh? Is that a 1-2? Huh? What does it look like? It doesn't look like this. This is not what it looks like when your opponent does that to you. Bad. Bad. Bad, Greg Hackett. So bad slips into a bad pull, right? The pull that he's using right there is, I call it the weight bully pull. It's usually going to work if you're taller than the guy. Don't start on uppercuts. Uppercuts bad. Little inside fighting. He's definitely going to need to be sharp on the inside. He's going to need to be able to block those shots, know his positioning. Where his glove is right now, if his opponent was to cross the line with a left hook, he could easily hit him in the ear, in the temple, on the top of the head, right? This shot here, I didn't even realize he was going to throw one right there. And look it's whacking him, right? This is a clean shot from my man Stanionis. And that's what he does. He's going to get in close and he's going to go ape shit. And he's just going to throw hands. And that's very, very dangerous for Ennis if he does fight on the inside. But I think he's going to have to. I think he's going to have to fight him on the inside. At some points. I think the guy's like bull in a china shop, But I don't know. I don't know what kind of chin he has. What's he trying to teach him here? Parry this shot? Uh-oh. I just want to make sure I know what the hell he's telling him. What are you looking at? Oh, I thought he got him the first time. Okay, so that's not an uppercut. It's supposed to be the jab. Okay, so slip, slip, tap, slip. Oh, jab, slip, slip. Pop, pop, slip, slip. Don't like it. Into the combination. Into the double jabs. I do like that he's testing his speed. Again, it is very important to test his speed. Give him a couple of different little reactions, flicking the jab, getting some parries in. I do like when the parry comes in, boom, pull, boom, and then block, right? Waiting for the rear hand in both sequences, right? If the rear hand comes, he's pulling off the line. If the rear hand comes here, he's blocking it. So another thing that was going on with Greg Hackett, I think he was being in, uh-oh. So the big overhand comes, and is that a block, guys? Are we going to count that as a block? Yeah? Is it hitting his shoulder? We see the big gap there. We see how his basically his lead knuckle, his index finger knuckle is on his eyebrow, right? And there's a whole massive area where he's open to be hit around the guard here. Very, very dangerous block here. Even though he's getting a little sticking shot in there after, he's going to be getting hit first. If Imanis is, if he's not too short to reach him. I like that he was staying in his rhythm too, with here. He's in a rhythm with him, with his dad. And he's going forward, back, right? Getting to the line, off the line, to the line, right? So there's like a little rhythm there, some cool stuff going. I'm still having a little bit of trouble figuring out all the stuff there. Trying to work on. Boom. 1, 2. Very low hands though. And this might be one of those things that he needs to continue to get better at. Keeping his hands up, because he's going to pay for it in this fight. If Chukajan could make him pay for it, Stanionis is going to make him pay for it too. But I actually don't think Stanionis is like the hardest puncher. But like when a guy hits you clean and a guy's as big as him, right? It's going to affect you. And it's a long fight. It's a long fight. And, for some reason, Ennis gets hit clean more than you would think, Now, everybody takes a clean shot in a fight. Everyone's going to get you with their trap or their little trick or whatever. It's going to happen, man. You can't avoid it every time, But anyway, first thing I notice about the heavy bag work is that heavy bag, brother, you are the world champion. You can't get somebody to say, hey, anytime Jaron Ennis works out, I want them to see my heavy bag. I want the free exposure. When Fouts Boxing does a We Fight How We Train video on Jaron Ennis, I want them to see my heavy bag in the background. I want him to talk about my heavy bag so I can make some money. Are you kidding me? Oh, does being world champion not offer you enough money to replace that bag? All the people that are not Jaron Ennis that actively fight worse because they train on that bag, because it's not as good, and it's not developing them as well as it could, because it's damaged, it's broken. You're doing them a massive disservice. There's no excuse for that at your level. There's no excuse for it. Anyone would line up to put their tag right there on your dumb bag and probably pay you to do it. But if you think that having, and I know this is like really common. Okay, now again, we're going to talk about Fouts Boxing Academy. I have a whole system for shadow boxing that teaching you shadow boxing and also teaches you how to get strong and get in shape. It's like a coordinated system. It's really, really clever and interesting. Retards like Tony Jeffries still don't understand it. They still don't understand that not everybody who comes into your gym is going to be Mike Tyson. And it's my job to make you Mike Tyson. And if you work hard, I will make you Mike Tyson. I will make you better. But, a clown like Tony Jeffries, who even after I called him out to fight, I said I'd go to his gym, I'd roll up, we could spar, we could do whatever he wants, and I'll clown on him. I'll knock his clown ass out. We could go as hard or as light. I could do a whole round with him, and I wouldn't even throw a punch, and he still wouldn't win. He still wouldn't win the round. But he said, no, I'm retired, mate. Openly denied and still wants to like poke fun at me in his little videos. Because he's a fucking loser. Look at how many more subs he has than me. Anyway, fuck that guy. But shadow boxing, right? Very, very, very important. And if you shadow box correctly, you can get in really good shape. But heavy bag work, double in bag work, speed bag work, mitt work, right? You don't, even your gloves, you can't have cheap gloves. You really need to invest in your equipment. It's very important. You need to invest in your coaching. You need to invest in the people that you rely on to teach you. Right? And I'm not just saying that because I'm a coach and I want to get paid. Right? But you need to make sure that you're getting the best that you can get. And a bag like this is not preparing Jaron Ennis for a world title fight. It's not, oh, we need that hard knock life. We need to show everybody we train in the grit. We tough. That's stupid. That's fucking ignorant. Fighting is fucking hard enough. And a couple of months due to supply your whole gym with nice equipment. How much does a double in bag cost, guys? $80? $80 and your gym doesn't have one? You kidding me? How much is a nice heavy bag? Man, sometimes those get expensive. These might be like $300, $250. I had a pro last one. I think I paid $300, but I think it was on sale from $400, and I would have paid the $400. I love that bag. I donated it to Old School Boxing, Ernest Johnson in San Diego, so that Theo could train at his gym for free. I gave him a speed bag platform. I gave him my heavy bag when I moved out of that place. And then he keeps fucking charging my guy. I gave him like $1,000 in fucking equipment. Fucking ungrateful fucker. Charges him like $25 for a drop-in. Fucking lame. But anyway, ProLast, super nice bag, right? It's really, really nice. It's important to have good equipment. It's important to have good drills. It's important. All that stuff is really important. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about Jaron Ennis. What the hell is Jaron Ennis doing here? Now, George Foreman says that the heavy bag is just for power. It's not true. It's not true. You have to be able to do everything everywhere. Okay? And one thing I really like about Jaron Ennis' heavy bag work here. See this bag? You guys see how it's not sitting still? You see how he's not stopping the bag and let it sit there like it's planted? And that's not how you fight somebody. You don't fight somebody who's just standing in front of you. No, if you're fighting a good guy, if you're fighting a real fighter, he's going to be stepping around you. He's going to be setting traps. He's going to be moving. He's not going to be standing planted right in front of you, waiting for you to make the first move. Are you kidding me? Is this your wildest fantasies? You get to fight some sucker every day and become world champion? Anyway, I like that the bag is moving around. It's circling. Good movement. He's working it a little bit. It's a pretty relaxed pace. Honestly, there are intense moments in fights, but there's a lot of, I don't want to say downtime, but there's a lot of non-punching activity. And it's important to incorporate that and move around and step around your opponent and do other things, something that a lot of fighters really neglect. Okay? And I think that it's pretty good. It's difficult to learn how to do all that stuff correctly. I wanted to pay attention to the fact that his head basically stays in the same spot all the time. And I want to get back to that Weili Zhang comment, right? And it's like a little bit like, oh, you got power, you got this, we already know, blah, blah, blah. Power is, God-given. It's not. If you want to learn punching power, by the way, I'm the first coach in history to figure out how all the punching power works. Everyone everyone I train is a hard, fast, vicious puncher. Okay, and I'm the first coach in history to figure out how it works. I'm the first coach in history to figure out how 2-foot punching works. The incorporation of driving up from the ground with both of your feet at the same time when you throw a strike to generate power. But that's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of a very small piece, right? The first piece, okay, in learning what true punching power works. And Jaron Ennis, a guy who's, number one, always punching down. He's fighting guys who are smaller than him. His hands are low. He's throwing punches in his center of gravity. I don't want to use that term because it's stupid, but like, you get what I mean, right? It's really close, straight Wing Chun stuff right in the chest, right? He's not throwing punches. I mean, Who broke this bag? Jaron Ennis probably, right? Look where he's fighting it, right? Look who he's fighting. Who is he fighting right now? Danny Garcia? Some guy smaller than Danny Garcia? Right? Where is he hitting him? In the center of the chest? What for? Okay, a couple of jabs to the face right there. Okay. But he doesn't have to worry too much about compromising his structure because he's not reaching for any punches. Whereas the people that are going to be fighting him are generally going to be punching up at him. And if you don't practice 2-foot punching, you don't practice striking correctly, you're going to fail. You're going to fail quite bad. You're not going to have a good structure. You're not going to be able to get your weight into your punches at all. And anyway, if you want to learn all that stuff, there's a striking program below. It's $149.99. It just teaches striking. Okay, if you were to meet me in person, it'd be the first lesson that I would give to you, plus the second lesson as well. Teach you a little bit more theory, but this is going to teach you exactly what Ryan Garcia is doing, exactly what Tank Davis is doing, exactly what these guys are doing to generate their power, except how to do it better than them. And if you practice this for like 6 months, not only are you going to go through incredible amounts of growth, incredible amounts of pain, but you will become an incredibly hard puncher if you do the drills, every week, twice a week, as much as you can, yeah. Anyway, this is a 30-minute video, and it was not supposed to be that long. I'm just talking all this bullshit. But talk a little bit about some boxing news. Like I said before, we talked a little bit about Shakur Stevenson versus Zepeda, a fight that I think is probably going to happen. I think it's funny that he's getting lowballed because he wanted to play games about fighting Zepeda, and then people are just like, they don't even care. They don't even give a shit. Nobody even wants to watch that fight anyway, right? And let's put this guy on for you. Nobody cares about Shakur Stevenson. He's not like a huge draw, right? He's got some fans. But it's not going to be this crazy big fight, right? Everyone knows that he's going to do his best to run, right? It's not going to be this crazy action-packed brawl, right? It's not going to be, and I think there was a time where I was thinking that Zepeda had a pretty good shot, but after seeing Farmer fight him twice, I think Shakur probably has enough points on him. He can watch enough stuff on him to be make it kind of an easy fight for him. Not easy, a tough drag out fight that he kind of wins. Comes out ahead on, edges him out in the rounds that he wins. They're more clear, and the rounds that Zepeda wins will be more muddy, right? Which will probably lead to an 8-4, 7-5 kind of scorecard. I'm thinking, but who knows? Maybe he's able to rock him. Nah, he don't hit that hard. Zepeda don't hit that hard. I don't think so. Got a lot of knockouts, but he's not punching that hard. And Shakur Stevenson's pretty big. He's pretty strong. Very, very fit, dude. I don't know if he's juicing or not, but he's the closest you're getting juicing without juicing, But I don't know. Because I never see that guy work out. I don't know what he's doing. I don't ever believe that Devin Haney's juicing because you see the kind of crazy workouts. You see how hard that guy's working. I never seen anything from Shakur Stevenson that suggests that he should be as jacked as he is, but stretch marks and shit. How are you going to give fucking stretch marks all of a sudden? Where'd that fucking come from? Right? Anyway, Bivol ducks Benavidez to fight Beterbiev in the trilogy. I thought he should have won the first fight. Not that he did. I don't think he did win the first fight, but I think that he should have won the first fight. I think he fought that fight poorly, made some huge mistakes, flooding the line too much and not boxing his ears off. I didn't even enjoy the second fight that much, And why would you have a third fight? The fights weren't super exciting. Everybody knows Beterbiev's not a great boxer, right? He's going to come rock'em sock'em robot. He's the last remnant of the 90s, early 2000s boxing where people can't move their head and all they have to do is just be the hardest punching, fastest, fittest guy, right? And just be letting slobber knockers go. But David Benavidez, he's the champion now. So, he has a belt, right? He was gifted a belt, or he worked really hard to be gifted that belt. I don't know. No disrespect to Benavidez, he earns it, he deserves it, but I still don't think that it's going to wind up getting him his fight with Canelo. I think that and it's interesting now because are Bivol and Benavidez going to fight next, or is because Benavidez is not going to wait, right? He's not going to wait for the rematch to have a fight or defend his belt. So I'm not sure who Benavidez is going to fight, but I'm happy that he has a belt and he has a way to get some money. Um, you know, yeah, I do. I can't wait to see who he fights and watch his fights. I like Benavidez quite a bit, even though he's not the greatest either, but he's pretty damn good. Um, let's see who else. What other boxing news is there? Let's put this one back on. Oh, Adelaide retains the British title, but the rematch with that guy over the thing where the guy moved his hand or whatever, weird, right? But I don't think that they should be doing anything about that. I think that's fine. One of the things that happens, like if you're clinching and you're cheating, yeah, the referee is supposed to move your hands and get your hands off of the grabs, right? Nothing wrong with that. They used to do it all the time. Don't be a pussy. You got knocked out. Don't try to cheat. Simple one. Uh, Robert Garcia. Oh, Haney versus what's that guy's name? Um, Ramirez. That guy keeps surprising me. That guy's surprising me quite often. He's I didn't think he was going to beat Comey, and I thought that not that Pedraza was going to beat him, but make it harder than it was for him. And he didn't really. But Pedraza has that thing that's wrong with him where he just don't throw any goddamn punches. Like, he's just bouncing around the line. He's doing that shit like I was saying when you throw the double jab on him with the Greg Hackett mitts, and he slips and he don't throw no punches, right? He's just doing that shit all the time. All the time. And, not throwing any punches, not getting any value, just wasting energy, and then getting set up. So, but I did a film study on Barboza versus Ramirez to talk about Haney versus Ramirez and Teofimo Lopez versus Barboza. And I think that Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney are both going to win. But if you guys want to watch the film study, check out the Patreon thing or whatever. I think we're going to be watching. I'm not sure what we're going to be watching tonight. But yeah, we're definitely going to be watching, most of the fight card from Ennis versus Stanionis over the weekend. All the good fights, we'll be watching them on the Patreon and Discord. But yeah, I think that Haney his jab is too fast, and Ramirez's ability to work off of his opponent's jab is too poor. And Devin Haney will be able to walk around, circle, step around, leash, do whatever he wants to do, and just jab Ramirez to death, and have like a safe comeback fight. I do think that this is a fight that he could stop him in if he wanted to. I think that Ramirez doesn't always look the best on his feet. He got like fucking Bambi legs. But yeah. Oh man, Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin De Los Santos would have been dope. I'm not sure why De Los Santos didn't take that fight. Keyshawn Davis is like the exact fighter that he's been preparing to beat up his whole career. He can move his head a little bit, and he throws hard punches. And I don't think Davis throws the hardest punches. I think that it's very, very difficult for him to get really, really hard punches out. And that was probably a really, really, really huge missed opportunity for him. Yeah, I'm not sure what his opportunities are going to be after that. You know, yeah, who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight instead? How's he going to make any good money? It doesn't really make any sense. Um, hmm. But whoever they wind up fighting, we'll be watching them on Patreon as well. Even though I think that De Los Santos completely shit the bed against Stanionis, or not against Shakur. I think that he's a pretty okay fighter, pretty good. He beat what's that guy's name? Valenzuela. I think Valenzuela's a pretty good fighter. But yeah, not fighting Keyshawn to get a title seems like a huge mistake. Really, really not sure. Hitchens versus Kambosos. Oh God. That's probably a fight that I'll do a post-fight film study on. I'll watch it, but honestly, I don't really have any interest in watching that fight. I don't think that they stole the belt from Paro, but that whole they keep planning on selling fights to Australia with Tim Tszyu and Kambosos. Why does that bum keep getting good fights? Why is this guy getting a title fight? Didn't he just lose his last fight? Who did he beat? Didn't he just get a gift decision or something? I don't actually remember exactly, but I do know for sure that after I saw him fight Teofimo Lopez, I was already sure I never wanted to see him again. Diego Pacheco turns down Mbili for unranked. I think that's a very, very, very good decision for him. I think that Mbili would beat the shit out of him. Ennis's padded record. Whoa. Man, people just don't respect some of the guys on his list, but also, who wants to fight that guy? He fought some good guys. I don't agree with that at all. Sergey Bohachik versus Michael Fox. What the hell? What a bunch of crap that is. Why would it be Michael Fox? Why isn't that guy Kavaliauskas still fighting? Why wouldn't he get it? I think he just beat that guy, didn't he? Anyway, probably watch some film on that because that'll give me a chance to watch some Kavaliauskas too. So that's kind of dope. Yeah, so I guess we'll watch that on Patreon and Discord. Anyway, if you guys are interested in the Discord and you're interested in coaching and you're interested in a scholarship, and you work hard, you're in shape, you're or whatever it is, if you're interested, send me a message on Patreon. You can join for free. It is a 7-day free trial. Tell me about yourself. Tell me why you want to join. Blah, blah, blah. How much boxing you watch. Tell me, what. Okay? And if the scholarships are, again, generally for people from other countries. I have a guy from Malaysia, a guy from India. I got guys from, all these places where the income inequality, the difference between living in the U.S. and there is so much different, that I can give you guys discounts for the yearly rates and stuff. Again, it's more about the community, but it can't be free because I do real coaching there. Okay. I'm really trying to help people get good. And if you're super lucky, you'll make it into my other Discord.